Well, another day and another story about the people who voted for Donald Trump absolutely terrified that Trump is going to do what he promised to do. Now, yesterday, I talked about the teachers, superintendents who voted for Trump, and then now they're shocked that he is going to cut the Department of Education, possibly, or at the very least cut funding to it, and they're worried they're going to lose their jobs. Today, once again, it's the farmers. Now, we have already talked multiple times over the last few months at this point about farmers across the country who voted for Trump, panicking that his mass deportation plans are going to devastate their farms, which would then devastate the food supply here in the United States. This is an issue that will, of course, affect everybody. Doesn't matter your income level. This is kind of a big deal. And now, Bloomberg actually went out and talked to several Trump voting farmers down here in the South, and they voted for Trump. They like Trump. We're terrified of what Trump is going to do to our businesses. In an interview with Bloomberg, tomato grower Tony DeMare said that it would be a major mistake for Trump to institute the kind of crackdown on undocumented farm labor that has been enacted in Florida, where he says he's having trouble finding people to pick crops. A lot of people left Florida for Georgia, north, scared. Farmers had to let their crops rot, he told Bloomberg. And that, of course, is before Trump even got sworn in, right? Which is happening, just shortly here, really. So even before Trump's policies that are going to make the problem so much worse, the problem already existed. Farmers are having crops rot in the field. Idaho-based farmer Shay Myers, this one not in the South, obviously, tells Bloomberg that it is simply not realistic, given current conditions, to hire only American citizens or even only documented immigrants who come into the country on H-2A guest worker visas. He also bluntly tells Bloomberg that if he, quote, had to replace every falsely documented worker with an H-2A worker, it wouldn't happen. So there's a couple points on here that I want to point out, right? These farmers are admitting, yes, we're hiring illegal immigrants. And yet, across the country, Republican politicians told us for years and years, still tell us to this day, these immigrants are the ones that are the problems, right? Nobody ever wants to actually crack down on the people hiring the illegal or undocumented, is a much better word, my apologies, these undocumented immigrants. No. And now they're telling us, listen, we have to have these people. And by the way, I'm not even saying we need to ship them back. I'm not of that opinion. Absolutely not. They should be allowed to say our economy is dependent upon undocumented people coming in this country. The problem is these people who hire them screw them over repeatedly. I mean, they're clearly admitting in this Bloomberg interview, Americans don't want to do these jobs. They don't. And there's not enough H-2A visas to bring in enough people to even do the jobs. We're screwed if we don't have illegal immigration, which is why, of course, I voted for the guy who said he was going to get rid of all the illegal immigrants in the country. You see how it's really hard to have any sympathy whatsoever for these people? And I don't. This particular group of folks, I got no sympathy for you. Some of the other issues where people were like, well, I thought he was going to lower the prices on this. I thought he was going to not destroy the Department of Education. I got a little bit of sympathy for them. For the farmers who are out there whining the mass deportations are going to crush us. He was 100% clear that he was going to do that. For years, he was clear about it. But no, you were more concerned about who was using which public bathroom, as if that impacts your life at all. No, you were hoodwinked by a Republican Party to ignore the issues that matter to you and be distracted by this shiny thing over here, which for the last year or so has been transgender people. You were more concerned about that than you were about your own livelihood. And boy, the chickens are coming home to roost, and you deserve what is about to happen to you. No sympathy. Deal with it. Live with the consequences of your actions. Isn't that what the Republican Party's all about? Personal responsibility? Y'all did this to us. Deal with it, a-holes. Now, the problem with having that mentality on this particular issue is, of course, that this isn't just going to affect the farmers, right? As the one guy mentioned, we've already got foods rotting in the fields. Guess what happens when that happens, right? The food, the vegetables, the fruits, they're rotting in the fields. That is food that doesn't make it to market. So when there's less food at the market, but demand remains the same, come on folks, simple macroeconomics, price goes up. Or, if everybody is still willing to pay that high price, but the supply is still low and demand remains the same, scarcity. So, we go without. we lose more money buying more expensive goods, and there's not enough to go around anymore. So as I said, rich, poor, doesn't matter. This is an issue that does affect us all. So while I do think these people need to take responsibility for their actions, the problem is their irresponsibility in being distracted by cultural, social bullcrap is dooming us all. Like, I, who did not vote for a single Republican ever in any election in my life, have to pay the price for this. You watching this, depending on the platform you're watching it on, you're probably pretty liberal. You didn't vote for any of this, but you also have to pay the price. We all do. We're a country. We're a collective. That's how it works. We basically have this collective punishment. We got to pay the price because a bunch of yahoos didn't pay attention to the issues that we had been warning about for months leading up to the election. We're all screwed because of too many ignorant, easily distracted voters. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform that, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.